How important are these earnings results to the overall market narrative?
So they're extremely important to the market. I mean, these are some of the two largest companies within the mega cap world. They're also just bellwethers for mega cap tech. And both cover very well, somewhat different businesses that do have overlaps. And so we're really going to see how Amazon, which is more focused on cloud service, and Google, which is more focused on ad searching revenues, how those are going to play out for both the fourth quarter and also, of course, very importantly, looking ahead, how we're expected to recover in 2021. So we know they've both benefited extremely well from the pandemic, and we know that they're going to be reporting record numbers, but it's all about how they're going to be able to continue this momentum going into 2020.
Both, Alex, both of these stocks are within the top 5 in terms of weightings in the S&P 500, so we know how important they are, as Aaron just pointed out. Are we expecting positivity in news coming out of them, and then are investors going to react positively to that positivity if it does happen?
Yeah, I think you're right. The economy is definitely run by the tech giants, and these are two really big, important ones, Google and Amazon. I think we are going to see some positive news. Guidance definitely has led us to believe that Amazon is going to post its first $100 billion quarter. I think that's massive. That's a flag-planting quarter in which Amazon is going to tell us, look, we've changed consumer behavior. Typically, people would go out to the mall or to stores during holiday shopping, and now they've decided that they can use Amazon as basically a serviceable alternative. And that's huge because that's not just this year. That's going to carry over next year. Even if we're back into normal times, people are going to be like, well, I could go on Amazon again. And that's going to stick with the company. So I think we can expect positive news for both of these companies in terms of how investors will react. I mean, who knows these days, given the irrationality in the market right now. And I mean, we just saw what happened with GameStop last week, and a little tick here or there might send them scrambling. But the early signs right now are that the stocks are going to go up. This looks like what's happening with the pre-market and the futures. So I expect a good reaction from investors.
Alex, if I could follow up here, I mean, you follow some of these companies so closely. What's the most important thing that each of these companies, Alphabet and Amazon, can say in their reports that will get that positivity even more fuel?
I think Amazon can give us clarity in terms of what it's spending on infrastructure. Amazon is light years ahead of the rest of the competition when it comes to processing online orders and fulfilling them. And it's been spending on infrastructure. It's been spending on people. It's been spending on planes. And, investors typically don't like the fact that expenses are going up, but this could put it even further ahead of the competition. So I want to hear a little bit more about what's going on there. In terms of Google, obviously the big question is, where does it go with cloud revenue? The search business has been predictable and moving forward over years, but Google does have an opportunity to take a bite out of Amazon and Microsoft's lead in cloud services, especially now during the pandemic where we're all moving to cloud-hosted software. And so, Google is way behind, but if it shows a bit of an uptick, then that will be a really positive sign for its business.
Aaron, I want you to kind of weave all of this together right now, because there's certainly a positivity in technology. It was the trade that worked in 2020 amid the pandemic. It's starting to show signs of life again. People kind of maybe getting a little bit out of the value-oriented trade back into big technology. Is that a theme that you see playing out in 2021 as well? Will it just be a redux in 2021 of what happened for big technology in 2020? We know how good of a year it was for a lot of those names.
Yeah, so I actually see this as potentially investors continuing to take this more risk-on trade, looking at these smaller cap stocks. I really see a lot of the infatuation that we had with mega caps in 2020. It's been waning for over 5 months. And January didn't see any turnaround. And Google's the exception, that Google has been outperforming the large cap indices, but Amazon's been trading sideways for 5 months. And I think they're very vulnerable to any type of disappointment in the report this evening. Investors are really looking for any type of disappointment, whether it's top line, bottom line, AWS services, increasing expenses, anything could send that stock down. I think, and they're really, the antitrust issues around these mega caps are starting to make investors lose that love that they had in 2020, and they're looking a little farther down the spectrum and looking for higher beta and risk trades. So I think these reports are important. I think certainly Amazon needs to blow the numbers away more so than Google. There's definitely, Google's been still one of the stocks that investors have been loving, despite Wall Street loving them. I mean, the consensus recommendations they're some of the top, buy recommendations out there. But I think that we are going to see a change as we go into 2021. Also, just because small caps are expected to massively outperform, they're expected to benefit more from the economic recovery, and investors could be looking outside of these mega caps that we've been so focused on for the past 2 years.
All right, Alex, just a few moments left here. What's your favorite technology story, technology company going into this next few months?
For me, it has to be Amazon. And I can't emphasize this enough. The behavior shift that we've seen from people moving from brick and mortar to moving online over the past year, and how much of that has been captured by Amazon is extraordinary. And with each move, Amazon enhances its automation systems. We don't see this on the outside, but inside a company like Amazon, when order flow comes in, it makes its machine learning systems even stronger. And that helps it automate not only, the robots that we see in the fulfillment centers, but the way that it orders products and even negotiates with vendors. That's all done through machine learning.
All right.
And I think that this is a behavior building year where consumers will buy, and then Amazon systems will get stronger on the back end, and that's why I think it's the big story.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.